In the St. Cloud area and Benton County area, there is now tornadoes on the ground. Repeat, tornadoes on the ground. Please take cover immediately. If you're in the Stearns or Benton County areas, please take cover immediately. I will leave the radar up so you people can view it. Again, if you're in the Stearns, Benton, or Sibley County areas, or anywhere experiencing large, heavy amounts of rain, please take cover now. Hey, CBS Minnesota, if you're watching my RSS feed, please pipe into the weather as soon as possible with Next Weather Radio and Chris Schaefer. Looks like just south of Onamia.
Minnesota Next Weather Alert. Hello again, I'm WCCO Chief Meteorologist Chris Schaefer. Wanted to give you another Next Weather update. Remember, we're not trying to hype this. I'm not trying to scare you. I just want you prepared because these storms have had a history of producing tornadoes, confirmed tornadoes on the ground. Here's a live look at the line as it's slowly working its way across the state out ahead of a cold front, triggering severe thunderstorms. That's what you're seeing in the gold shaded boxes, and in the red we have active tornado warnings. Now this one in Aitkin County holding until about 7:45 tonight. Now just picking up rotation, but earlier we had confirmed reports of a tornado on the ground. We have severe thunderstorm warnings in parts of Aitkin and skipping over to Carleton counties and St. Louis counties as well. Mainly a hail threat in those areas, but they too have had a history of producing rotation. Now we're shifting to focus down near the St. Cloud area. Here's St. Cloud for reference. Law enforcement did pick up on some rotation. Nothing confirmed on the ground in the Waite Park area. This line is pushing toward the east-southeast at a little slower clip, but you can see Stearns County, parts of it anyway, in the active tornado warning until about 7:30. Nothing confirmed on the ground in this area, but with law enforcement seeing that rotation, we've seen a history of these rotating wall clouds. Let me show you some of the areas of concern over the next few minutes. These taking more of an easterly approach. You can see Sartell, 7:34 tonight. St. Cloud, it'll be passing over the area at about 7:38 tonight and continuing on its way. Should be weakening as they do so, but the National Weather Service did jump and issue a tornado watch for good reason. That's where we've had the active warnings, and you can see the general direction. So if you live in places like Mora, Sandstone, skip it across into western Wisconsin, be aware. Keep it here on WCCO. Check your phone. There's so many ways to get active alerts and warnings. Here's another live look at the line of thunderstorms that is moving toward the east-southeast. Eventually, the line will get here toward the Twin Cities. We do not expect to have the active tornado warnings that we do right now, but we'll continue to monitor these as they work their way across the state of Minnesota and update you as necessary on WCCO.
Thank you, WCCO Weather. Let's tune back into KCLD and make sure our licenses are up to date real quick. With law firm and CGW law firm for rebroadcast.
Let's go to next weather team member Mike Augustinak, who's in New Richmond, Wisconsin. I love that town, and we're talking about the thunderstorm threat, the possible tornado threat up north. You're talking about historic tornado activity that happened in Wisconsin, Mike.
Yeah, Chris, it was 125 years ago tonight, in fact, almost this hour, that the worst tornado in Wisconsin history hit. And the church bell that you see above me has quite a story to tell. The church is gone, but this bell remains following the tornado that destroyed most of the other buildings throughout the city. And years later, when scientists went back and took a look at it, they determined it was likely to have been an F5 tornado, one of only about 55 recorded in history here in the U.S., period. If you're in the area, you can hear this wild story, and it's all free if you join me from 6 o'clock to 7:30 at Northwood Technical College's Cashman Conference Center. I'll be talking about the science of tornadoes and this storm, but you'll also hear really fascinating eyewitness accounts and have some myths about the tornado busted by researcher Todd Kittle. We introduced you, Todd. Actually, meteorologist Adam Del Rosso did a little earlier, late last week. So
I'm choosing to actually upload
it is a
the
nice evening
CBS
right now.
footage.
We brought the next weather tracker. It's telling us it's 76 degrees. We have a few clouds, but there's nothing falling from the clouds. It's a really pleasant evening right now, but of course we'll be keeping a close eye on the storms around here as well, as will Chris and the rest of the next weather team. Frank will come back and give you the full forecast through Father's Day weekend. Chris will in a few minutes.
Good. We'll look forward to that. That's amazing what happened 125 years ago, Mike. Thanks for sharing some of that.
It is. Very cool story.
Yeah. Breaking news in northern Illinois right now, where authorities say 3 sheriff's deputies were shot while responding to a home. Police say the suspect was also wounded and was threatening to kill themselves and others. This all happened inside a gated community near Dixon, which is southwest of Rockford, Illinois. The sheriff says everyone injured is in good condition. A local hospital says 2 people were treated and released.
Right now, detectives in St. Paul are looking for the gunman in a deadly shooting early this morning. It happened on Maryland Avenue in the Payne-Phelan neighborhood. Police say a man died at the scene after being shot multiple times. His name hasn't been released. Investigators are still trying to figure out what led to the shooting. They're asking the public to give them a call if they know anything, and this is St. Paul's 11th homicide of the year. Decision delayed. Senate panel weighing an ethics complaint against DFL Senator Nicole Mitchell pressed pause again.
They're waiting until after her next court date before they take any action. Mitchell faces one felony count of first-degree burglary in connection to a break-in at her stepmother's home in April. Caroline Cummings has the latest on the political fallout from those allegations.
I am calling the Senate Subcommittee on Ethical Conduct to order.
It was all wrapped up in 20 minutes. The Ethics Subcommittee delayed action again on an ethics complaint against Senator Nicole Mitchell that argues she violated Senate rules and brought the chamber into, quote, dishonor and disrepute.
We have no new information or changes that we would perhaps decide to go ahead and conclude for the day.
The new date to reconvene, July 25th. That will follow the next hearing in her criminal case on July 1st. She was initially due in court this week, which is why last month the panel sought to delay action until today.
By July 25th, this case will not be substantially advanced to the point that there would be new information.
There's some leeway to reconvene sooner if there's any new information. Republicans are awaiting a ruling from a judge that could authorize the release of police body camera footage capturing the alleged burglary.
And I think that might be helpful to the ethics subcommittee hearings.
The political fallout is mounting. In the last few weeks, a growing list of Democrats, including Governor Tim Walz and DFL Party Chair Ken Martin, have called for her resignation. Mitchell missed a deadline last weekend that would have put a special election for her seat on the same day as the general election in November had she resigned. But her attorney says Senator Mitchell has no intention of doing that.
Some political dynamics have shifted. The legal dynamics are what they are here.
In St. Paul, Caroline Cummings, WCCO News.
Mitchell's attorney says he doesn't think her case will be wrapped up for several months. The Minnesota legislature will convene again in January.
First Lady Jill Biden is returning to Minnesota tomorrow to campaign for President Joe Biden. The White House says she plans to stop in Duluth after a visit to Green Bay, Wisconsin. It's a quick stop. First Lady will only be here
have an active tornado warning that's in effect until 7:45, but again, that's at this point just picking up rotation in the upper atmosphere, nothing on the ground. But this line does have a history of producing some tornadic activity as well as producing some damaging to sizable hail. Let's go back to Cross Lake and show you a picture of some of the hailstones we had reported in that area. This whole line again has been moving toward the southeast at about 40 miles per hour. There's the quarter for reference. You see that's some damaging hail, and we certainly appreciate our WCCO viewers for sharing these images of what's going on in the atmosphere to give you a real idea. Cross Lake, obviously a very popular cabin area.
Quick hit,
So
Dr.
even if you're
Football
not
live
watching in
on
these areas,
Facebook license.
many of you have places in these areas, so I want you fully updated on what's going on. Still active severe thunderstorm warnings now just southeast of Cross Lake. That's mainly a hail threat again, and you see these warnings until about 7:45 to 8 o'clock. I do want to zoom in particularly on this area now near St. Cloud. Happy to see the tornado warning. We're no longer seeing rotation with this cell, but this is also a very dangerous and severe line that's producing hail as well. This will be in effect for parts of Mille Lacs, Sherburne, Benton counties until 8 o'clock tonight, 8:15 now, extended as it pushes toward the southeast. Let's show you a live traffic camera up in the St. Cloud area to show you what it looks like in the area. Not only have we been watching for the rotation clearly with the tornado warnings, but some very heavy rain with these cells, and you can see the camera shaking. That's because of the wind. As this line gets closer to the Twin Cities, we knew it would transform to more of a wind threat than a hail and a tornado threat, and we're starting to see evidence of that with this particular traffic camera up in the area. Again, not trying to scare you. I just want you fully prepared for what's about to come through your neighborhood. We'll zoom it out a bit to show you the tornado watch in effect until 10 o'clock. Active severe thunderstorm warnings for the next 15, 20 minutes or so. And that is a Doppler indicated tornado warning. Some rotation still being picked up in the area. Here in the Twin Cities, it's going to be very hit or miss. You can see the rain coming through the St. Cloud area, but near the metro, we could get clipped with the western edge of this, and some of you may get through it completely dry. Hopefully, this is the last update in the night, but if things escalate again, I will jump back on WCCO to keep you informed.
To have moved out of our St. It remains the deadliest tornado in Wisconsin history. Today marks the 125th anniversary of the New Richmond cyclone of 1899. Next, weather meteorologist Adam Del Rosso takes a look back at history.
It looked like an atomic bomb had gone off here in the city center.
It was 6 p.m. on June 12, 1899. New Richmond was leveled by the deadliest tornado in Wisconsin's history. 125 years later, stories still cycle through the town.
One of the huge myths is that the circus had been destroyed and there were wild animals running all over, and none of that is true.
Todd Kittle calls himself the local history guy. He's been studying this storm off and on for the last year or so.
It was on the ground from one end in Richmond to the other and tore right through the center of, like I said, where we're sitting right now was absolute shambles.
One of the most incredible stories comes from the Methodist Church right across the street. The church's original bell still standing out front today. Even the now 130-plus-year-old Bible survived after a wild ride.
The altar Bible at the Methodist Church was discovered in a field a couple weeks later up near Deer Park, which is a little over 10 miles by as the crow flies.
And it looks untouched.
It looks amazing.
It was a tragic twister, killing 117. But Kittle says if there's something to take away, it's this reminder.
Really bad things happen to good people all the time. They banded together, leaned on each other, and they got through it. And that's the life lesson.
Almost every place you go has handicap parking.
But that does not necessarily mean people who use wheelchairs can park. Susan Elizabeth Littlefield shows us how a suburban dad is trying to change that from his own garage.
It's a project engineer, Brett Thorne, never imagined he'd be working on.
So I started in the garage, building it out of 2x4s, building it out of whatever I could find laying around.
And now he's found purpose after watching his beloved cousin in a pinch.
We had to go visit the restaurant manager, trying to figure out whose car it was, get it moved so that she can put her ramp down and we can be on with our day.
So when you saw what Katerina was going through, it just kind of got you.
Really seeing it firsthand and having to deal with it is really when it became clear how big of an issue it is.
The woes of navigating handicap parking are well documented. So Brett, an engineer by day, got to work by night in his Chanhassen garage.
And Katerina just said, if only there was something that I could put out on the side of my vehicle that would stop people from parking there. And I was like, I think I could build you that.
And he did. Spot Saver is officially on the market.
Brett says so far he has about 200 of these on back order, and he's heard from people as far away as Australia and the United Kingdom.
That was actually a huge surprise to me when I saw how many people commented on it, liked it, viewed it, shared it. It was pretty amazing feedback.
He and Katerina just had their first trade show in hopes of showing the world more dignity. With photojournalist Joe Berglove in Chanhassen, Susan Elizabeth Littlefield, WCCO News.
The Spot Saver costs $450 and is available online.
Stop losing sleep on your period. Always night pads are designed to give you a perfect night's sleep, so you can do this white sheets thing. While Always night pads with a 2 times larger back, they're up to 10 hours of protection thing. Do your sleep thing, always.
Introducing the all-new 2024 Lincoln Nautilus Hybrid.
In my book, saving while shopping is a no-brainer, so I use Rakuten to get cash back while I'm book clubbing. Cha-ching! With Rakuten, I get cash back at over 3,500 stores.
So how does that work?
Well, stores pay Rakuten to send them shoppers. Then, Rakuten shares that money with us in a check or PayPal payment. It's free and easy.
I think you're missing the plot.
And I think you're missing the cash back.
Cha-ching!
My name is Ashley Cordell,
and I am the founder of the Stay Beautiful Foundation. When I started in 2016, I would go to the post office and literally fill out each person's name on a label. And now at ShipStation, we are shipping 500 beauty boxes a month. It takes less than 5 minutes for me to get all of my labels and get beauty in the hands of women who are battling cancer so much quicker.
ShipStation, the #1 choice of online sellers. Go to ShipStation.com for a free 30-day trial.
If you're shopping for a home, Realtor.com's Real View Maps show you precise wildfire, flood, and noise ratings on every home listing. And now, Real View Maps feature heat, wind, and air quality ratings as well.
Don't all apps do that?
Not really. Trust the #1 app real estate professionals trust. Download the Realtor.com app today.
It's so easy to get your windshield replaced using SafeLight. Tell the people why you haven't done it already, my man. Let's start off as a chip and go into a crack, and it just keeps going. So what do we do now? We went ahead and scheduled an appointment online at SafeLight.com. Tell them to meet us here at the beach.
Let's get started.
Oh, SafeLight repair.
SafeLight replay.
Yes, for the free mobile service at SafeLight.com.
SafeLight repair, SafeLight replace.
The game is changing, but what drives the game never will. What you have is time. Gatorade is in you.
Good news for your money this evening. A new report shows inflation is slowing ever so slightly. Following the new data, the Federal Reserve decided to once again keep interest rates the same to ease rising prices. Also, some positive news at the grocery store. Prices didn't go down, but they did remain steady from April to May. And drivers are getting a break at the pump. AAA says the national average is down about 16 cents a gallon in the last month. Overall, inflation eased to 3.3% in May, down from 3.4% in April.
I think this report is encouraging. We're moving in the right direction. At the end of the day, prices are still pretty high. I think that's what's weighing on consumers still.
And that includes housing costs. Rent prices shot up nearly 5.5% in the last year. The Fed now says it only plans one rate cut sometime this year. Previously, it had considered 3 cuts.
NBA legend Jerry West has died. He is the Hall of Fame player and executive who inspired the NBA logo that you see all over. West won 9 championships in a variety of roles as player, scout, coach, executive, and consultant. He was also awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 2019. West began his career right here with the Minneapolis Lakers just right before they left town. The LA Clippers say Jerry West died peacefully at his home with his wife by his side. He was 86 years old.
Authorities in Maryland today announced the full reopening of the Port of Baltimore. The federal channel was closed to commercial traffic after a cargo ship crashed into the Francis Scott Key Bridge in March. 6 bridge workers died. The accident forced shipping companies to reroute their cargo. Authorities say that commercial shipping traffic through the port will soon return to normal levels. Looking to find some happiness? Well, you might be in the right place.
Minneapolis was just named the happiest city in the United States. This is according to the Institute for Quality of Life. And they base that on thousands of indicators, they claim. Minneapolis marked high marks for parks, affordability, and public transportation. The tiny town of Aarhus, Denmark, was named the happiest city in the world.
There have been no arrests after a man was shot and killed in St. Paul. Police say multiple 911 calls came in around 1:40 this morning in St. Paul's Payne-Phelan neighborhood. Officers found the man shot multiple times. He died at the scene. Please call police if you have any details.
A local church is doing its best to clean up after someone